Teacher knowledge and behavior is the component of the model that focuses on teachers' knowledge of students and content and on their expertise in classroom management and pedagogy. Teacher behavior is the element of teacher knowledge and behavior that encompasses classroom management and pedagogy. More information on this can be found in the Technology as Facilitator of Quality Education model. Students in an elementary school class have developed and distributed a survey to find out what type of person reads the Harry Potter books by J.K. Rowling. The teacher demonstrates content management, a component of classroom management, when she briefly outlines the sequence of activities for the lesson.
All right, we're going to go ahead today and kind of look at our project in terms of where we have been, where we are right now, and what we're going to do. So that's kind of our game plan for this morning. And then we're going to look a little bit at some of the data we collected yesterday from us as to favorite character, and also the magazine article that Annika was so nice to bring to us. All right, so those are a couple of things. Then we're going to go back to to our house unit areas, and we're going to kind of in your own cooperative group then assess what your plan is for today, what your questions were. You're going to look at that sheet that you filled out yesterday with your plan on it, and then we're going to go down to the computer lab, and you're going to get your hands on all of these things and use the Tom Snyder program that we've looked at here in the room on, what's the name of it again? Graph Club, right, exactly. So that's kind of our agenda for this morning. When we're finished, your group, each group has come up with 2 different questions you want to answer. You got into your cooperative groups, you decided on 2 specific things you wanted to answer. You're going to figure out how to put that data, you're going to sort through the data, you're going to look through that, and you're going to try to find general tendencies. You're going to try to answer the questions you have written for yourselves, and as David said, put it all together to answer that. Then what are you going to do with it once you get it all together? Then what are you going to do? Abby, please.
Put it in some kind of big thing that shows that all we've got, like a PowerPoint thing.
Okay, you're going to make a PowerPoint presentation. The advantage of that PowerPoint presentation is obvious. What are we going to be able to do with it when we're finished? What can we do with that PowerPoint presentation? Anyone? Erica?
We can email it out to all the people that gave us information.
Sure, we can email it back out to anyone who sent us information, because we can send that via the internet.
By managing a daily preview session, the teacher provides students with a structured learning environment. The teacher demonstrates an element of pedagogy by creating a learning environment that encourages her students to transfer knowledge and skills across the curriculum. During a review of the project so far, the teacher has one student share with the rest of the class some of the word processing skills she used to type and send out the survey.
What did you discover that you could do that would make it easier? What did you find out? Annika, please?
We used Paste to write the letter, and so we didn't have to write it over. And for the survey, we used Attachment.
Okay, so you use the feature of being able to copy, select all, copy, and then paste it every time you opened started a new letter. And then what was the second feature you used?
Attachment.
And what did you do through the attachment?
We typed the survey, and when we wanted to use it, we just pushed it.
Yeah, you just attached it for right off there. Made it pretty easy then, didn't it? It amazes me sometimes when I think about all the computer skills you people have.
The students review the mathematical concepts they have used during the project.
And what are some of the specific math tools of the project? What are some of the math skills we've had to use in analyzing or looking at some of these results? Why don't you talk again in your cooperative groups for a moment? So what kind of math skills have we used? Eric has told us making charts and making graphs. I mean, those are certainly math skills, aren't they? Yes, please. Abby.
Fractions.
We've used fraction concepts. Exactly. David. Percents. Mm-hmm. And is that what you were going to say too, Austin? All right, thank you. Fractions and percents.
Graphs.
Graphs. Mm-hmm. Used a few decimal concepts. So all of those things.
Then they practice some of the skills they reviewed. The teacher has the students interpret the results of a survey done in a popular magazine. The teacher demonstrates an element of pedagogy in her knowledge of teaching practice. She embeds skills practice into problem-solving opportunities that reflect the interests of her students.
Where did these results come from? Michael, please.
The magazine.
Very good, Michael. How did you know that was the magazine as opposed to being from our class, the data from our class?
Because the greenish part is Hermione's, how many people voted for her. But in our class, there's only about one person who voted for her.
Okay, so in this chart, the green, as you say, how do you say her name again?
Hermione.
Hermione is what it told us in book 4, didn't it? Hermione has 35%. And did she, you know that in our class she didn't have that high of a percent. Can anyone think of a fraction that is fairly close to 35%? Talk to each other. Austin, please.
We thought it was 1/3 because that equals 33 and 1/3%.
Okay, so that 1/3 is a good knowledge base to have. That you know that 1/3 is worth how much?
33 and 1.
I can't hear you.
33 and 1/3%.
All right, so is this a little bit more or a little bit less than 1/3?
A little bit more.
A little bit more than 1/3. And in our class, did we have anywhere near 1/3 of the people voting for this as her favorite character? No. So Michael, you're right. We know just from the results.
The teacher again demonstrates an element of pedagogy by fostering a learning environment that promotes multiple paths of knowledge. She has her students practice the mathematics skills they will need to interpret the data from their survey. The students work in cooperative groups to solve a problem using rational number concepts. Each group develops a unique algorithm for determining the answer. The teacher points out that even though they use different thought processes, all the groups arrived at the same result.
What did your group come up with for an estimated number of people who responded? What did you come up with and why? What was your thinking? All right, would you explain for us first, Abby, from our Slytherins group?
We said about 2,000 because if you add 653, it has to be at least a little bit more than 1,000, and then you add another one. So we didn't exactly add them, but we figured that.
Okay, you didn't exactly add them. You just thought in your head that this one is about 1,000, but not quite.
If you add them both together.
Oh, add both of what together?
653 plus 653.
Oh, so you thought I'm going to add 653 and 653. All right.
And then, that's probably about a little bit more than 1,000.
Okay, so that's going to be a little more than 1,000 for that. All right.
And then you add another one, so it's going to be
Another one.
another 650.
Another 650 onto that.
And then we figured it was about 2,000.
So that would give you about 2,000. Exactly?
No.
About. I like the way that your group used the about. So your group thinks about 2,000 people answered it. All right. What did this group say? Tyler, what did the Ravenclaws come up with?
We did 653 times 3, and it equaled 1,959, and then it was about 2,000.
1,959, and you said that is about
2,000.
2,000. Do you agree with their thinking? Do you agree with their thinking?
Yes.
So you're both coming up with about 2,000. You're both looking at it in a little bit different way.
As the students continue with their project, the teacher reminds them to reflect on their work in terms of their school district's essential learnings. The teacher demonstrates a component of pedagogy by encouraging her students to apply reflective assessment to their work, both in a group and individually.
I'd like your focus for a moment back. I know you know these things. Our effective or our essential learnings that are K through 12 in Waverly Shell Rock, being an effective communicator. Think about how you are doing that. Demonstrating awareness of the audience. Who are you getting this material from? The sensitivity, the communication. How are we writing and reading? And how does that affect what you're doing today? Being a knowledgeable person, a quality producer. We certainly want our finished product to show that. We want to show that we are critical thinkers and problem solvers. When you get those charts and graphs, are they going to make sense? Put it back into that fraction, percent, decimal concepts and see, now, is that really, does it make sense? Is it logical? And being the collaborative worker. That's an awfully important part all the time of a project like this. So our essential learnings are certainly one of the goals of doing the whole project. So be thinking about those again today as we do this. You may go ahead and talk in your group and make sure that form is filled out. Make sure that you are ready then to go to the computer lab to start putting it all together as David has told us. All right?
The teacher also demonstrates content management, an element of classroom management, by having her students think about the essential learnings. She manages the degree of accountability when she reminds students that they need to work collaboratively to create a learning product of high quality. The teacher demonstrates content management, an element of classroom management, in her ability to manage group and classwork. The students go to the computer lab to process their survey data. The teacher circulates around the room and monitors the students as they work in groups on the computer. She makes herself available to the students for help with setting up their graphs or with interpreting the survey data.